Got to, man. Gotta bounce back. Shout out to my homie Keys, Xavier Keys, on the vocals on this. Okay. Honestly, they couldn't stop me if they wanted to. Gotta get up, go out and get it, and that's what I'm gonna do. I've been focused, I'm not hungry. Yo, I'm starving, dude. Grind mode with my team, we making these power moves. Honestly, they couldn't stop me if they wanted to. Gotta get up, go out and get it, and that's what I'm gonna do. I've been focused, I'm not hungry. Yo, I'm starving, dude. In grind mode with my team, we making these power moves. Cause I ain't got no time to be wasting with all this music I'm making. Man, I'm tired of being impatient, so I keep making these moves here with my crew. Vow to myself to always stay true, so I don't care what nobody else do. I know why. Like an erection, bumps in the road, but nah, I ain't stressing. I don't work out, but homie, I'm flexing. Every time I get on the beat and I bless it. Rise and shine, and I never let another come and stop my grind. Cause I grind all night at the gig, no lie. Then it's back in the booth for some overtime. Come on. Nope. Shout out to Miss Alma Ramos. Shout out to Miss B. I said, hey. My mom told me to get them, so I don't care what y'all say. I just keep grinding. Yeah, I stay working, cause it's, you know, I said, that's right. In the lab with a pen and a pad, let's ride. Make it look so easy, don't it make y'all mad? One thing I know, one thing is certain. I can't stop, won't stop, cause me and my team stay working. One thing I know, one thing is certain. Can't stop, won't stop, on the grind, getting mine, I'm working. No sleep. Spit heat, killing these tracks, and I'm not gonna stop till I'm up on top where I'm supposed to be. Everywhere I go, I scream SP. We more than a crew, we a family. Working trying to get a couple Grammys, G, have them sitting on top of the mantelpiece. Thank God. Go hard, they just mad cause I'm on my job. But where I'm from is to the ground to starve. Starving, I just can't do it. Not having it, unthinkable. So I turn in the stretch arm strong, and now I can reach the unreachable. Let's go. Hey, trying to. Yo, I said I can't sit still. I just laugh at y'all haters. Cause yeah, hey, mom's told me, so I don't. Let's go, I just keep. Yeah, I stay. Cause it's, you know, I said, that's right. In the lab with a pen and a pad, let's ride. Make it look so easy, doesn't it make you mad? One thing I know, one thing is certain. I can't stop, won't stop, cause me and my team stay working.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Aurora, good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. I mean, y'all feel it. I feel it. You feel it. Our guest feels it. I didn't get your name.
Kris,
that's yes, right. Oh, God. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is a Monday and we just got coffee. Kris, well, let me start over. Today we have an important guest. A guest who will talk to us about sports, certainly about achievement and motivation, baseball and softball, and that trail of superlatives could lead to one man, Kris of K25,
yes,
baseball and softball.
Yes,
good to see you.
Good to see you. Bro.
Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on.
Me. Absolutely.
We were chopping it up on air beforehand, so we got to give a couple of shout outs to the Hurst family.
Yep.
First and foremost. Want to also say what up to Matt Miller. What's good? What's
M14.
good?
What's up, my man? That's my boy.
Yeah, and shout out to Wabanzi Valley High School, man, and everybody who graduated from their class of 2000, 2001, all that other kind of good stuff, man. We in the building. But you're in the building, actually. This is about you. Okay. It's about you. So I gave you a brief introduction, but continue that. Let us know who you are, where you're from, born and raised.
All right, absolutely. Born and raised in Aurora, Illinois. Son of the city, I guess.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm a father of two lovely daughters, a husband of my lovely wife, and I run K25 baseball, softball.
Okay.
Started off just like everybody else in Aurora. Came up through BBA, Boys Baseball Aurora.
Okay.
Back then, I think it was called Aurora Boys Baseball. Went through the ranks there, and I always say my story is kind of funny in a way where baseball chose me. I was a 3-sport athlete. Coming up, I had played 3 sports for most of my life. I don't remember not playing more than 2 sports.
Okay.
So I was a 3-sport athlete all my life. I played travel basketball. I did the football thing. I was doing baseball in the summer. So baseball was always a thing for me. It was fun. It was like I did that to have a rest, have a break.
Is baseball America's pastime?
Yes.
Okay.
In a lot of ways. Yes. I will still say it is America's pastime. It's not looked at it so much now. And I think because the demographics of baseball have changed, it seems like it's more of a Latino pastime than anything. And I think that's just some things are changing in baseball, and hopefully it's coming back to the better.
Okay.
I mean,
I didn't mean to throw you off with that question.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's a deep dive, though. That's a deep conversation there, and where baseball's going towards. And I think there's some organizations out there that are getting overlooked that are kind of making sure that all people have opportunities to play baseball. Baseball is an expensive sport. So initially you started off, baseball was a sport you played on the street, and you had a broomstick and you had some kind of funny ball, and you was to hit, and you grab a pop can that was old and you put it there, and that's first base. You grab some kind of napkin and you put it here. You grab an old newspaper and you put it here, and that's third base. And so it's kind of changed in a lot of ways where it's now you have to have some finances to play baseball.
The soul of it has been it's been commercialized.
Absolutely.
It's capitalism has reared its head in baseball.
Correct.
And made it. Are those top-notch cleats, or are they not?
Correct. And it makes it hard. And I think in today's, for youth sports, it's tough, period, in all sports, because all sports are moving a year round. It's almost like we don't have seasons anymore. It's just like, hey, everyone needs to play. If you want to be elite, the most overused word in youth sports or sports period is elite. If you want to be elite, or you want to be this kid that's a prep college kid at 11, which is no such thing, you have to do this year round. You have to do this year round, and those kind of things I think have damaged all sports in a way, and in some ways made some things better. But I think to bring it back, I think to explore baseball and make sure it's still, and be a part of that change and make sure it's still available for everyone is a huge push for me. Okay. So that's what it is. So
3 sports.
Yes. 3 sport.
Baseball,
basketball, and football. Correct.
Okay. What position did you play in football?
Football, I was a running back for most of my life. I went to West Aurora. So shout out Blackhawks.
Shout out West Aurora.
You already know. I went to West Aurora, and I played running back until my junior year. I think I switched out to receiver. I was playing cornerback at one point, so I was playing offense and defense. But by my senior year, I was like, hey, coach, let me just take care of the offense piece, and you know what I'm saying, deal here. So it was a lot of running around, but I done that. And then in basketball, I was a point guard. I was actually a sophomore on the state team, the only state team to come out of Aurora. So shout out to those guys, 32-1.
The only state team to come out of Aurora?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Accolades.
First and only. First and only. Let's get it right. 2000 state team.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, everybody in Aurora right now like, yeah, hold on, that ain't even broken yet.
Yeah, I love Easter. I love my Tomcats, man. I got nothing but love for them, but they know what it is. So yeah, I was on the state team, and then I was always playing baseball as a like I said, that's like a break. Like I still want to be active. I just couldn't imagine myself sitting in a house. I wasn't really raised that way anyway.
Right.
And so I would play baseball. It was more of like a chill out. We're gonna cool down, then get it back going during the summer because now you're playing like the kind of high school summer basketball, and then you got the football camp starting and stuff. So it was kind of crazy. I went into my baseball year, the year that we won state. I was a sophomore on the team. That same year, I actually got brought up to varsity baseball, and no one knew it. It's like almost like it's Aurora for you. Like West Aurora's a football school kind of, but more of a basketball school. So to be honest, if you African American playing baseball, it's kind of like, oh, you play baseball,
right?
Like for real?
Yeah,
like,
it's
just an honest. It's an honest thing. It's nothing terrible about it, but it's an honest thing. So I went on. I continued to play, and my coach came, Coach Rao, who I still love to this day. He gave me a paper with the MLB Scouting Bureau. It was a showcase. I'm like, what? He said, you should go to this camp. I'm like, what the? MLB? Like,
Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I play baseball for like fun. Like, what are we talking about here? So he gave it to me and 3 others. And I remember like it was yesterday, and this like changed my life. Like that morning, I woke up and I was like, nah, Mom, I'm like, we're not going to this. Like, well, why are we wasting our time?
Right.
Like I'm not even all conference or nothing. Like I'm not known for playing baseball. So why are we wasting our time doing this? And she was like, no, well, we up now. You're like, you might as well go. And I had this thing, and that's for hopefully anybody out there. If your parent gets up and makes you breakfast, get your butt up and eat some of it. You don't have to eat all of it, but eat some of it as a sign of respect, because that person may not be there for the rest of your life to make you some eggs. So get your butt up and show that respect. So I had that in me. Around that time, I was always like, if Mom makes anything or Dad makes anything, I'm going to try it. I'm going to just, even if I know I just ate, it's like, hey, I'm going to eat a little plate of it, and then we can eat the rest later, or most of the time I'll house it. I'll just kill it. All right. So I had that vibe, and I got up, and I was like, you know what, she already made breakfast, so I'm going to get up and eat something. But that whole time I was positive that I wasn't going to go. It was out at St. Xavier.
Joliet?
No, that was near the city. Okay. And so she talked me into it, and I was like, all right, you know what, you're right, let's just go. Drove out there, got there to the showcase. A lot of times, the baseball showcase, you run a 60-yard dash first. Okay.
Is there a specific time that you have to run it in?
So this is how ignorant I was to the process. I didn't know. So like baseball was truly a third sport. Like I didn't know. I was like, what's good? Right. So for me, being from Aurora, it was like racing on the street, right? Like you race before the cars come down the street. So it was like, I just got to beat this dude. And if I beat him, they'll probably eliminate him and I get to stay.
Word up.
Right? And so it's like, it was literally like, get on the line, let's go, bro. Right. So it was funny. And I remember the guy, like yesterday, he had long hair. He's a Latino kid, guy, and he had long hair. And I was like, man, this dude's big though. Right. I'm like, he too big. I'm going to waste him. Right. Like, this is easy work. He worked me. It wasn't even close. Like, oh my gosh, it was borderline embarrassing because I was always fast coming up, and so it was like I haven't really lost races. The only people I lost races to was my brother. Right. So it was like that's okay. He's older. It's a steal. Like I can do that. So I lost this race, and I thought right away I was like, that doubt sets in your mind. And I'm like, yo, like this is why I didn't want to come. Right. Like what do we do this for? Funny thing about it, that guy was 25 years old, and I didn't realize it. I was 16. So I shouldn't have planned on beating him, but I didn't know that. I was ignorant to the process. Right after I ran my 60, I ran a 6'9", which is actually the MLB average. Okay. And I didn't know this at the time. And the scout, Dursk boys, they were with the White Sox. I don't want to say the name. It was twin brothers. So it was Nathan and Dan Dursk, one of those two. I think it was Nathan. He came over to me and he said, hey, what's your name? I'm like, Kris Jenkins. I'm nervous though. Now I'm like, Kris Jenkins. I'm like, I done did something wrong. He about to knock him off the list. And he goes, okay. He walks off. I felt like he got on the phone, and he comes back to me and he goes, hey, you play, heard you're pretty good, football and basketball. I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? Right. And because you're there for baseball. Yes. And he goes, do me a favor, give baseball a chance. okay, I stayed the rest of the camp. So they had me field, throw, and hit. I did well. And then I got invited to another camp for the Cincinnati Reds. And I got invited to another camp again for the Marlins. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And that's what really changed everything for me, where I like took my vision and said, okay, well, maybe this is something for me. And it's all because I gave it a shot.
Right.
I tried it and gave it a shot. So that summer was like actually a pretty long summer, because it was a summer that I'm used to playing basketball a lot. And I started really focusing on like, hey, how can I get on a baseball team? Or how can I explore this talent that I may have? These people see something in me. He doesn't have all the time in the world just to lie to some kid from Aurora. So let's give it a shot. So from there, I took it full speed ahead. And the crazy thing is, I was all conference, all area football. I was all conference in basketball. Baseball, I didn't get all conference. I think I got all area. But the same day they announced I didn't get all conference, the scout from the Marlins, Scott Engler, came in and had me sign a bunch of paperwork for the Marlins for the draft. Like I was a draft and follow.
Okay.
Yeah,
there you
so
go.
it was crazy because I shouldn't have signed all them papers without calling my mom.
Yeah.
But I sure did. Like, I was tripping, and the whole time I was signing, I was like, I don't even know. I was looking for signature, and I was like,
legal,
right? And you know what? I don't know what they're saying. I could have signed my life away. I would have known. But from there, though, I actually did not get. I got drafted and followed, but I did not get like that. That was something that's done away with now. I went to Triton College. Legendary coach Bob Simmons. He came out. That story goes, he was out there to see a different player. He had already offered that player, and I had a game where, truth be told, on the offensive side, I failed. I hit a ball on the ground. I got thrown out, but I ran hard down the line. He was able to clock my time. Fly ball came out to, I think I was in center field or left field. I went and touched the fence. It was like super technical, right? I touched the fence, came back, caught it, and it was a pretty technical play in baseball. So he, from there, started to knows me. He reached out to me, and then I'm like, Triton College. I'm this Kris Jenkins in my head. Like, I ain't going no JUCO. Right. Crazy. I'm supposed to be going D1. You know, that's what I'm thinking at the time. But I didn't realize that Triton College it was a powerhouse where most of the time kids that got drafted went there or wanted to get drafted went there. Those are the kids that didn't even want to go to school. Right. They wanted to play professional ball. So I ended up playing. He actually got me on a summer team, my first big time summer travel team. I did not play. For the first month, I felt like, but we were driving, me and my mom were driving an hour and a half out to this like Stevenson area and all that, Libertyville. Right, it felt like Wisconsin. And so you're driving up there to not play.
Oh, not Stevenson, Wisconsin?
No, like Stevenson High School out there.
Oh,
like Libertyville and all that. So it felt like it was like the longest drives ever. And then to come back and not play, or play like one inning or two for a decent amount of your summer, it was humbling and like kind of like frustrating, where, you know, now times it's not going to happen. They're just going to leave the team. I stuck with it because I was like, look, I'm going to finish this. I have to finish this. I'm going to finish this. And I ended up starting by the end of the year. We had some kids there that were signed to D1s, and I'm at this little JUCO, and I was starting by the end of the year, and that was my goal. And honestly, that summer, University of Arkansas offered to fly me down to come down and check out their campus and hopefully go there. Oh, snap. But I was already committed to Triton. And when I told the coach this, I knew I was in a good place when I told the coach, like, hey, I signed to Triton. And at the time, I could have signed to both. But he was like, no, that's a great school. I think you should go there.
So the opposition coach.
This is a D1 coach who won the college championship the next year. Right. And he was like, that school is a great school. That coach is legit. Definitely, kiddo.
See,
so that was cool.
That's big. Yeah. That's big respect. Yes. See, that's the kind of respect when you see that happen at another level that you're not even in. That you remember that. Right. You're like, wow, that's big time.
It was crazy.
That's big. That's big time.
That gave me that push to know, like, have that confidence. And I think that's something a lot of kids get into now when they're in high school. Is like when they have opportunity to go to school, they're picking schools based on what their friends' response may be. Right. I want to pick this school because everybody's going to tell me that that's cool. Like, you know, I don't even want to call out a school, but certain kids will go to a bigger school and want to put on a sweater and tell all their friends they're going to school. Then you see them back the next year. Right. Or you see them back halfway through the semester because that school didn't fit them.
Yeah, like what happened?
And it's like, you pick a school for you that's going to work for you, not work for your friends' likeliness. Like, this ain't Instagram. You're not getting likes off the school you went to. So It's your life. So I went to Triton. Man, it was a slap in the face. A guy that ended up being one of my good friends at the time. I ran another 60. It's like everything came down to the 60-yard dash. Mm-hmm. He goes up to me, didn't even know me, looked at me, looked me up and down, goes, "I'll give you 20 yards," and walked off. I was like, "What? Welcome to college, freshman."
Wow. So what were you running the 60 in?
I was running a 60 at that time. So in high school, I ran a 60, and my fastest time after that first showcase would end up being a 6.7.
Okay.
Which is pretty good, honestly, for baseball. By the time I ended my time at Triton College, I was running 6.5.
So 6'7" in high school, and then 6'5" in college.
In college, at Triton, I was the slowest outfielder out there.
Really?
So welcome to a powerhouse junior, right? And then from there, I went on to Illinois State University, where I received a scholarship to play at Illinois State University, and I topped out at a 6'4". So I just kind of kept getting better as I was going a little bit, but. Yeah, that's speed wise. That was that. So.
All right, we're gonna come back to ISU.
Yeah.
That's gonna be our part 2.
Yes, sir.
Sally Bice, good morning. Francisca Villalobos, good morning. Emily, Anna Sierra, Tracy Duran, Cheryl Brownell, good morning to you. Sandra White, good morning. Nikki Daly is here. Nikki Daly of IGTM Education. I got the Munchies Education. They were on with Berwin Tompkins, great friends of the show. Shout out to y'all. Good morning to the whole world. Bianca Camargo is here. Good morning, Judge. And Earl EJ.
I went to the high school.
Jean Miller. You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said good morning.
Kris
Jenkins.
Morning. Good morning. I ran into her at Harner's.
The bakery?
About a month or two ago.
Oh, snap.
So absolutely, yeah.
Good
What's
stuff.
up, Bianca?
All right, so I have some news to give to you guys real quick. Here it is right here. So the Aurora City Council is voting tomorrow on a new lease with Carver Aero designed to stimulate building activity at the Aurora Municipal Airport. Aldermen vote tomorrow on the new lease agreement that would replace the former lease with Luminaire Incorporated as a fixed base operator. The lease would include a clause calling for investment of new infrastructure by Carver Aero of at least $10 million. It would be for 5 years with 3 5-year renewal terms for a total of 20 years. According to the lease, if the infrastructure improvements are done as called for, the city would rebate ground rent paid by Carver Aero for each of the 20 years. According to Carmen Forte, a lawyer with Klein, Thorpe, and Jenkins Limited, who negotiated the lease for the city, quote, the new lease has a $10 million commitment. Any failure of Carver to meet that commitment would require them to pay ground rent. Damn. Santa Claus. Making a list. She's checking it twice. She gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Okay. So yes, they're gonna vote for this tomorrow. It's on the consent agenda, and as we told you 365 million times, anything on the consent agenda is most likely to be passed. Okay, so airport stuff, great. And then last thing I got to tell you guys about, the Waubonsie Community College is starting spring semester with remote learning, while AU plans to return to in-person learning. Waubonsie Community College is switching to remote for the first 2 weeks of spring semester, and that's because of the spike in COVID-19 cases across Kane County. Waubonsie students will utilize remote learning from Tuesday, January 18th until Sunday, January 30th. According to Waubonsie spokeswoman Amanda Geist, quote, we want to continue to be flexible and responsible to the changing dynamics of the pandemic. We've had a layered approach to our mitigation efforts, from masking and encouraging vaccines and weekly testing through the governor's mandate, and this is just one more step, close quote. Aurora University is set to begin spring semester classes in person on today using a hybrid approach. Yikes. The time is now 8:20 a.m. and you're listening to Good Morning Aurora, second largest city's first daily news podcast. Josie Mendoza Geller, good morning. Hey, don't be telling people about my donut habit. Kidding aside, so proud of you making West proud. Shouts out. Bringing it back with some donuts.
I was there too. Half a dozen.
Right. Harner's got the good
apple fritters, man. Got to.
Lord have mercy.
Got to.
Snap on that.
Got to.
Yeah. Tracy Duran, tell you a good story. Tracy Duran, in our first year of Good Morning Aurora. We interviewed Tracy Duran the very first time, and she brought, she's a historian. So she brought boxes of Aurora memorabilia. She had like boxes. She brought like 4 boxes that day. 3 of them were the Aurora joints with the yearbooks and all this old school stuff. The 4th box was Harner's.
See?
Swole. Just with the, you could hit somebody and knock them out.
See?
Yeah. With the bear claws and all that. Good place. Good place.
Amazing.
So we're going to talk. I want to know about your experience at Illinois State University.
Absolutely.
Now, what year was this?
This was, so I was done with Triton in 03, 04, so it's like the 03, 04 still, like you're going into the fall.
Okay.
So it was kind of funny. It was towards the end of the season for Triton. The idea is that you either go to the pros or you go to college.
Right.
And the expectation after you go to Triton is like you're not going D2 or anything, you're going D1.
Good morning, Raquel.
And so like Tim Brownlee and Ryan. Tim Brownlee is the assistant coach's name. Father Jim Brownlee. We're at Illinois State. I started seeing them at the games, where I was like, "Oh yeah, Illinois State's here, cool." And at the time, Iowa was talking to me, University of Iowa. So I'm like, "Man, I'm going to University of Iowa. Like that'd be cool. Like I've been to the campus a couple times. Seems like a good
Party
place.
campus.
It's a Big Ten. Here you go with the friend thing, right? It's a Big Ten. Like everybody gonna be like, "Wow, you're at Iowa."
You'll be like, "Yeah, that's your boy." Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? So, and the funny thing is, at the time, the coach at University of Jack Dom and his assistant coach was Ryan Brownlee. So they were a group of brothers, right? And Iowa went another way, and I think what happened, I still don't know this for sure, but I think what happened was Ryan Brownlee let his father and Tim know about me and about the kind of player I was.
Right.
So I got invited down to Illinois State. Never forget it. I'm driving down. I was so nervous about it. I was speeding. Got pulled over, got a ticket and everything for speeding. On the day I'm supposed to go visit the coaches to go get,
all good stories start off like
scholarship,
that.
Right? So I go down there to visit them. We go to a steakhouse. In the we had like a little dinner and stuff. They showed me
What was the
campus.
name of the steakhouse?
Alexander's. The Alexander Steakhouse. That's kind of big time in Normal, Illinois, around that area. So yeah, it's either there or you go get a sandwich from a gondola. That's a big thing in Normal, Illinois.
Okay.
But anyway, we went down to this spot and we ate and everything. We had a good conversation. And at the beginning of the conversation, they had offered me a 50% scholarship. So baseball, here's another issue with baseball, is that baseball at the D1 level has 11.7 scholarships to give, right? So 11 scholarships and then a 70% scholarship. That's the easiest way to look at it, right?
Okay.
11 full rides, 70% scholarship.
Okay.
Easy way to look at it, right? But the coaches are forced with the burden of trying to divvy those up between about 30 to 32 players. So good luck, right? And if you give a couple a full ride, now you're going to be in trouble coming towards the end of your roster, right?
Right.
And plus your freshman class coming in, what are you going to offer them if everything's stocked up? Okay. So for an outfielder at that time, what they didn't know, I'm glad they didn't. I was going to sign for 45% because I knew as an outfielder that was key. I had talked to my coach at Triton. He was like, "Look, this is what's real. This is the real realities of playing this sport." Full ride and full ride for other sports is kind of like, oh yeah, you got a full ride. Basketball players, it's more scholarships available. Football players, it's like at Illinois State, it's like 75. At a big D1, it's like 85.
Okay.
So like that's kind of, in a sense, easier, right? To have your school fully paid for. So I knew like going into it, like, man, if I can get close to half, like for an outfielder, I'm signing.
Right.
It's over. So when they told me 50, in my head, I was already signed.
Bet.
They didn't even know. One, their colors is like silly stuff. Their colors were red. That was my favorite color. Signed. And 50%. Signed. And my brother at the time went there. So my brother's Kevin, my older brother Kevin. He went there. So it was like I got a piece of home there. Something my college coach, my JUCO coach told me, he said, go to a school, no matter what you pick. And I always tell kids this now. Go to a school that if whatever you're going there for doesn't work out, you will still enjoy that school.
Right.
All right. And you see that a lot. Kids just pick a school, like I said, just for some arbitrary reason. They go there, they realize that reason's no longer because they're grown, they're more mature, and they just hate the place they're at.
Right.
That's a remedy for failure. And so I was always like, look, I've been down here with my brother. Like if baseball is not going well. Going 0 for 5 in a game kind of sucks. And I got to know that I like being in this space, though, if I'm going to do that. So I knew it was a school for me. By the end of that dinner, how things went, they end up upping my scholarship. They say, you know what, we really like you, like your personality. We think you're a great kid. We think you could be a leader here. We're going to raise it to 70%. And so I was like, yo, I'm signing. Right. Where's the paper? Yeah. I'm not going. We don't need to call mom.
Right. Check, please.
Don't call dad. Send us a check. I don't want dessert. You know what? We're going to sign this, right? So that's how that went. And so I signed a scholarship down there. Went down there, played, and like I said, everything always isn't like perfect, but I went down there and played. I was with my brother, so I had a good situation there. Got to learn a lot of things on the flip side, because having my brother down there, you understand even deeper how different treatment can be, depending on your status as a student at that school. Right. Especially when it comes to getting FAFSA and stuff like that. It was kind of some challenges going down, and I sometimes Kevin got the bad end of the stick, and I was always like, wow, this is crazy. And then once I stopped being an athlete there, I had to finish up a year there after being an athlete because I changed my major. It was like real. It was like, wow. So I get it now. This is a business. So you're done using me, so let's move on here.
What have you done for me lately?
Yes, so that's just kind of crazy to see that I was 21 years old, because I was super young for my class. I'm a July birthday. Okay. So I should have graduated high school in 03, but I graduated 02. Okay. So at Illinois State, my first year, I did really well, honestly, but I ended up getting hurt. I ended up hurting my elbow. With that said, I still got sent down to a college collegiate league, like a college, like it's kind of like an all-star league. It was down in Texas. It's called the TCL League. So you got this kid from Aurora, Illinois. A week after the season, you at O'Hare Airport. I'm going down to Texas to meet my host brother and the family that I'm staying with. This is the world of baseball. That's why it's a little bit different. So it's very common to stay with what's called a host family. Right. They're just going to house you. So I come down there, and this dude, whiny boy Brandon, love this dude. Hey, how's it going? And he's in his truck, and I'm like, bruh. Right. What?
You just coming out of A-Town and all that.
Yes. Like, so you're thinking Texas is gonna have tumbleweed going across the joint, crazy. And it's obviously we're in Dallas area, so it's nothing like that. But talk about exposing that part of me where it's like you didn't know anything better. So I got down there and stayed with a family called the Duffs. Tina Duff, she always owns a jewelry store down there in Flower Mound. So shout out to the Duffs. Stayed there. It was an amazing experience. Mm-hmm.
This is Houston?
This is Dallas area.
Dallas, excuse me.
So they were my team was out of Denton, Texas.
Denton, Texas.
Yeah, we were the Denton Outlaws. That's where I think University of North Texas is now. So went down there, had an awesome summer, learned a lot. Exposure leads to expansion. So I had a lot of good experiences with a lot of people that weren't from my areas. Different culture down there as far as playing baseball and how they see players. Right. It's funny because in the South it's a little more caught up. Every player's a player. Right. It's not like you're this like, oh, you play baseball? They're like, well, yeah, he plays, of course. Right. It's no big deal because I'm down south. Yeah. Duh. He's like, what else you gonna play? Right. You know what I mean? We're up here. It's like, wait, you hoop, right? Yeah, you play baseball too? Why? Right. It's like, so it's a different culture down there. It's a little more baseball lively down there. So had a good season there. Came back to Illinois State. Elbow was starting to feel better. Played my senior year. Didn't go my way. Just honest truth. I was hoping to get drafted and just could not get out of a funk the whole year. Right. Had a series in particular. This is like the epitome of my senior year. We played Wichita State, which is a big-time school. I hit 2 home runs, had 5 RBIs for the game, right? Mm-hmm. Killed it. No scouts at all. Right. No one there. No one. Right. 0.
All this spice.
I'm killing it.
Ain't nobody eating.
No one. Right? No seasoning. So I came the next day, because it's a series, the next day we played, I was 0 for 4. Like with 2 striker, everyone was there. Right. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I can't win for losing right now. Right. So, but that's just how it goes. So I played, didn't get drafted, and honestly, for a while, I was bitter with the draft. I was bitter with baseball.
Is that what's called the slump? when players get into the slump?
Yes, it is called a slump. So a slump just simply means like, hey, a person that normally hits, because if you don't normally hit, you can never get in a slump. That's just you being you, right? But
you suck.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm just
you not that guy, right? Or now
he already been there. We ain't talking about him.
Right. You do this normally, so this is nothing new for you. And so, yeah, I was slumping. And the funny thing is, like college ball, it goes so quick that a slump in the majors, you could slump for a month or two. And it's like your season could still be amazing.
Right.
Where in college, you don't have that time. You don't have that affordance.
Right.
So that slump was like, for me at the time, and this small part of my life was devastating. Though. It was like, wow, now what? And like, legitly now what? Like, because I would go to school and like, what's your major? Baseball. And I would always say that because, well, I'm not here. Like, you didn't give me a scholarship because I'm a great student, and I was a good student. I wasn't no silly dude.
I feel you.
But it was like the business of it. Like, don't sit here and try to convince me that I'm here for an education.
I didn't
first.
get here because of science.
Yes, we went down. We went down to Southern Mississippi for a game or for a tournament like spring break. We came back at 5 a.m. I had class at 8. Student athlete first,
right? Like,
no, it's an athlete student. Like, you still got to go to class and stuff because that's part of the gig,
right?
And I did go, but it was like that right there let me know, like, man, this is crazy. Like, you preaching this thing, but like, we're not really treated like we're treated like the athlete first. We're out here to do a job,
right? So,
coming from those backgrounds, then I end up coming back home, and I started coaching.
What year was
right
this?
Away. This was 2006. So I started coaching and stuff right away. I was still playing a little bit. I played like semi-pro ball and stuff, and I was still playing, but I started coaching. And the funny thing is, I had run basketball camps and stuff and been a part of that when I was in high school. So I'd always had a real deep passion for coaching and like kids and like helping and being a mentor and trying to be like a person that can make people better behind me, right? And funny thing is, I was like this 3-sport athlete in high school, but people didn't know I was a peer mediator. Like, I jumped in that. So like when the freshmen would fight and stuff, I'd be like the senior in the middle, like, hey guys, let's talk about why you fought. Like,
no, you need them. You need
stuff like that. What I realized was that they were kind of like, oh, you care too? When you're, at the time, it was like, I'm this little freshman. Why would you even care about what I'm doing, right? And so I've been doing camps and stuff forever. Started jumping into baseball. So in my head, I'm like, dude, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to be this dope baseball coach, and then we're going to see what happens, right? Didn't work out that way, which is shocking.
Life happens like that.
Yeah, life happens. So I come back, and I started trying to do some baseball stuff. It just seemed never to pick up. But the second I announced that I was going to do, like, basketball camps, I would have like basketball camps like it was nothing.
Right.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. I played D1 baseball. This is not even like a passion for mine right now. And so that going through that was kind of crazy. It was kind of tripped out, honestly, because it was almost like that feeling like, oh, well, you don't do that. There's no way you could be a great baseball guy. Like, but basketball, yeah, you got to be good at that. Like,
of course, yeah.
How would you not?
Right.
Right. So
see, that shit is
so it's
crazy.
crazy. It was bizarre. So from semi-pro, I actually had a coach, Phil Bodine. The dude is, if you talk to him, he would say, Kris is like a son to me to this day. He coaches at Plainfield South High School. So I was playing for him, and he was like, hey, you ever looking to coach? I was like, heck yeah, I love to coach. I was like, I just can never like get in the door nowhere. I was substitute teaching at the time through Oswego School District and West Aurora.
308.
At the time, and this is no shade to anybody, I had asked my alma mater if I could volunteer coach. I didn't want any money. I was like, I'll volunteer. This is where I went. I know I have something to bring to the table. Let me help this school.
Right.
And it was like, nah, we good. We got coaches. I was like, no, I don't want no money. I'm going to volunteer my time and do this. Nah, we straight. So I coached basketball at West Aurora. Freshman basketball. And I was like, this is crazy right now. But, whatever. No shade to anybody. But that to me, that was bizarre to me. And if I had been a D1 basketball player, it wouldn't have been close. I'd have came right back and coached, and no big deal.
But is that the norm in sports? It doesn't sound. I don't want to use the word frustration, but is that not even disappointment? Is that consistently like misrepresented representation of what you are and really are where you
Yes,
should be? Is that
correct.
just how it goes?
Correct. And I think that's a lot like what people think it is, like to get a scholarship. They think like you literally just sit there, do nothing, play the sport, and somebody takes care of your grades. And somebody takes care of you. And so you're so pampered that you never had to do anything like the regular students. But when I went from playing and then that year I was not playing at Illinois State, that was a breeze. I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. Because I was like, what do people do? You get done with class if you're in college and you get your schedule together, right? You're not gonna have class on Fridays. You're done by like 2 every day at the latest. What does everybody do with their time?
Right.
Like, and I was always, that was a struggle for me. I was like, what? Now what? What do I do with my time? I don't have strength and conditioning. I don't have weightlifting after. I don't have strength and conditioning. I don't have practice after. I'm not traveling for a game. What do I do? Right. So I started working, and it was like, oh, when you work and go to school, it's really hard. No, it's not. Same difference. It's going to practice. And so when you come back, it's still that vibe of like, oh, you played in college football. You got this. There's always stigmas about anything in life. Right. But that stigma of being like this easy road to everything because you play a sport is kind of hilarious. Like if you talk to other athletes, it's like, yeah, right. Because going to school and waking up, go to school, go to work was easier. It's a little more boring too. But.
So you worked for, or you coached for Phil Bodine?
Yes.
You went to?
Yes, I went to Plainfield South, coached for Phil Bodine. I was a sophomore head coach for 3 years. I would help out with the varsity team as well. So that like springboarded me into like the coaching realm. Like I was an official coach. I was out of this like training realm. And what I realized was that kids were coming to high school and they're just not ready to play. Like you're trying to explain something to a high school kid because he's 15, 14 years old, and you're thinking like, you should know this. Right. And this joker is like lost. Oh yeah. And so I'd be like, do you play? Have you played before? And they're like, yeah, I played travel ball for this elite program. And every program says they're elite, like everyone. Right. And I'm like, okay. Then why don't you know like a basic, like this is like a fundamental.
Why do you suck so bad?
Right. Yeah. I wasn't gonna say that, but you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, like why? Like honestly though, it is kind of like that. Like why did you suck so bad? Yeah. Like how come you don't know this? This is simple, right? And so you start realizing the flaws in that process of youth sports. And so I'm coaching there, and I'm like, man, I wish I could like do more. So I continued to start doing lessons and training. And in doing that, I was like, wow, there's a big world out here of people that do this, and there's a lot of different philosophies, and people have their own beliefs. But what it comes down to is sometimes people are just selfish. Like they think that their way must work for everyone because it's worked for someone. Right. And I always say, like, your way is going to work for somebody, but not everybody. Right. And that includes myself, right? So, but to stay open-minded as a coach, I have this thing where I've got from Jeff Albert, who at the time was with the Houston Astros. I think he's with the Cardinals now. He says, if you're a coach, you're a teacher. If you're a teacher, you're a learner. So continue to learn, right? And I've always kind of stuck by that, like, hey, if you're a coach or a teacher, you're a learner. So I go out and learn. I do my thing. I try to get as much education as possible yearly, because I think a problem possibly at the high school level is that those coaches can sit in those positions and coach in those positions, and as long as no one else wants the job, you kind of sit there, right? Whether your record's good or not, whether kids are moving on to school or not, right? Because it's secondary, right? Your education's first. But my thing is, you should. If I want you to get better every year as the athlete, then shouldn't I? Of course, yeah, right. And you don't. That of course is. Yeah, that course is arguable, right? And so, like this past weekend, that was the ABCA, American Baseball Coaches Association conference. It's right in Chicago. It's a big convention. It's probably, I'm not gonna say the amount of coaches out there because it's probably an issue, right? But there's a lot of coaches out there, right? So I just came back from that. And you go out there, you meet people, you get challenged, I purposely put myself in uncomfortable positions to learn, and iron sharpens iron. I just believe in that. Right. So I have to, my mentality at K25 is to, I need to constantly get better. I encourage our coaching staff to constantly get better so that the kids that are growing through our program aren't hitting a spike, which is like what usually happens when they're, no offense, there's some great fathers out there, but some that don't know much. Mm-hmm. They get to a point where your kid's about 12 or possibly even earlier where, Dad, you have to be honest and say, I don't really know what I'm talking about anymore, son. I love you, son. I'll do anything I can for you. I want to support you in this, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And when you hit that moment, you need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be the adult and move on. And so I always tell our staff, we can't have that. So if you're not learning every year,
right,
and it gets to a point where that kid you're teaching, I'm like, okay, that's the same issue here.
Right.
Then we need to move. Like, we need to figure this out. You know what I mean? So it's always that big push to get better, and I think that doesn't stop in coaching, but some coaches do stop it.
You can tell a person's like skill level or experience based or lack thereof by like who they was working with. You know?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So there's always that I guess fight there, and then me being fresh out, I was coming back to Aurora, and it was like, oh, Kris Jenkins is a basketball player, and that for like years I was like,
right.
Like, look, so what I ended up doing was stop doing basketball, period. Like, I'm not, no. Can my kid come and dribble with you? No. I don't do that no more.
Right.
What's basketball?
Never heard of it.
And I think that's good for the kids behind us because there's plenty of basketball players to look up to around here.
All right. So what is the history of K25?
K25. All right. So I'm not I feel like I'm creative, but not the most. Like when it comes to like names of businesses and stuff like that, I'm more a simple person.
I thought it was like I thought it was like an ingredient or something.
Kris.
Like K25.
It is an ingredient.
Oh, it is?
Kris.
Oh,
25.
Yeah, word. I like that.
Sprinkle a little KJ on it. No, so my name is Kris with a K, so it's a little different spin on Kris. My father's Kevin, my brother's Kevin, so we all KJs.
Okay.
Nephew's Cameron, niece Kaylin, KJ. Right. My youngest daughter's Camilla, KJ. All right,
Keeping
so we kind of got that thing going, right?
Dora Sanchez, good morning.
But so K25, my number was 25 in college.
Okay.
All right, so and it's almost like anything else, and truth be told, it was kind of in a lot of ways inspired by M14. So shout out again to my boy.
Man,
it was just simple. It was like simple and like, man, you could remember that easy. Like, you don't have to think of this long elite sports baseball. And I hope there's no business called that, but like, I'm no shade there. But I didn't want something long that they had to like remember.
Yeah.
So I wanted something simple, but you knew the quality in it.
Right.
And so I started off just Kris doing lessons and stuff like that. I was doing lessons out of this place right there in Montgomery called Swing. I think it was called Swing. I think it was just called Swing Baseball Softball. And so I would do lessons out of there, just as, you know, this dude in there doing lessons, right? And then I was like, you know what, this is a passion. I've always wanted to run my own business and like kind of start something, even though I still work, but to start something, to initiate and start being an entrepreneur, right?
Right.
So I started like branding myself like K25. I was trying to think of names. I was thinking all kinds of stuff, and I was like, you know what, Kris, I'm number 25. Okay, K25.
Right.
Let's end it there. Right? K25 baseball. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about the ladies, baseball and softball.
Right.
Great. Done. Went from there, just me training to, okay, now it's just picking up steam, and people are realizing the quality. And it's a lot of trainers can do that and run around training, but it's hard to duplicate your process through someone else. And so I started having staff because I was like, look, if there's a way I can keep my focus on this growing, and this 6-year-old that comes in, someone else can deal with and still be of quality,
right?
Then let's do that.
Right.
And so that's how that started growing. And then I had my own mindset. I was like, I really want a place that in Aurora, I wanted to do something big in Aurora. And I'd always said that. So I had some meetings with people before, and I was like, I want to do something big for baseball in Aurora. As an African-American male, that's kind of an anomaly. We got plenty of basketball camps and football camps, but baseball,
right,
like of quality. So I went full in. 3 years later, now we're here, and I got a facility out in North Aurora, Illinois, 200 Alder Drive, so it's right behind Douglas Flooring. And that facility is 12,000 square feet total. It's 8,000 square feet of turf, 6 cages in it that retract both ways.
Okay.
So it opens up to a big space, and then it can close off. The cages are kind of ridiculous. They're really big, long, but that's what I wanted, was something that a little kid can walk in and feel like, man, I train here. Like, this is of value to me, right? A lot of times in baseball, you go to a warehouse that has netting up. It's like, yeah, so we practice. It's not much, but here we go, right? And I feel like there's no pride in that, right? So I wanted to make our space something that a kid can feel good about.
Right.
Can open that door and it's like, it's game time now. It's like, it's time to work. And then, so I started educating myself more on things to stay up in front of, not necessarily my competitors, but in front of my kids more than anything. And in front of myself from last year. I'm always trying to beat Kris last year. Right. And so kept educating myself, became a part of the ABCA. I'm a member of the ABCA convention. And started looking at other things to understand skill acquisition in youth. And how do you learn to do a skill? How do you learn to do a move? How do you learn movement patterns? And it's truly, when you really dive into it, it's not you thinking, hey, move my arm this way and it'll just do it. Like, that's not how it really works. So I'm starting to dive into that now. I'm starting to read more and things of that nature. So I started K25, and it's been great so far. We've been open.
What year did you start it?
I started last year. Last October we technically opened. And it's been, last October. So it's been a year and some months, and it's been good so far. There's some ups and downs. It's like anything. So any business owner out there starting something, there's going to be plenty of ups and downs. There's plenty of people that are not sure that you can do what you want to do. There's going to be some people that are close to you that are afraid truly of you doing what you want to do and failing. So they're going to tell you not to and stuff like that. But you have to be passionate about it and not afraid to fail forward. And I always say that, like I told my mom, my dad, everybody, I said, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to fail forward, though. I'm going to fall forward. Like, so, yeah, I tried something. If you know, for some reason it didn't work out, because I opened, obviously, in October last year, that was COVID, right? So it was a really weird time to open up a business. And I was like, this is a great time to open. Why? Because no one's going to open a business right now. No one's going to start anything right now. They got to be crazy. And apparently I am, because I did it. And, you know, a year later, and I always tell myself, all right, I got through 1 year. And then this year, it's like, all right, I want to get through the next year. And then next year, I'm going to say the same thing. I want to get through the year before I start building. And that's like trying to tell myself to be patient more than anything. That's like a reminder myself that this is a process. Just like a kid that walks in there that wants a hitting lesson, I tell them first thing, this is a process. This is not magic. I almost have to remind myself as a business owner, like, this is a process. It's not magic. So, and that part's frustrating at times. So,
it is. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you get some haters saying stuff, and, like, it's like, when you focus on that stuff, though, it's ridiculous sometimes. It's like, man, I got to just focus on what grows me and not what doesn't. So, that's very well said. Yeah. So, 200 Alder Drive. Yes, 200 Alder Drive. So, if you guys are coming from, like, Randall Road, act like you're going to Oberweis, and just go past it, though. And that dead end will run you into our building. It's the right side of the building, around the sidewalk, second door to the left. But
Erica, good morning. Johnny Felix, good morning. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all.
Good morning.
The time is 8:49. All right, so quick question. Because we're in the realm of sports, and I would like to, kind of dive in back to how we started off. Like, for me, baseball is like not a black sport, but like baseball and black people is like synonymous to me. It's just, I don't like baseball. That's why I asked, is it the American pastime? I believe that was a good like phrase for baseball. It's America's pastime, but at the same time, like I've always seen baseball as like a black sport. I've never thought that Michael Jordan, for heaven's sakes,
that was his favorite sport,
played baseball, So how did it get, in a little bit of time that we got, we're not going to use all the time, but how did it get to where in 2021 you feel, or the people in baseball feel, like it's no longer
America's pastime?
Yeah. How did that happen?
I think the growth of football. Sunday night football. That's how it happened. And then Monday and then Thursday night football. And I play fantasy football. It's more of the growth of football. Baseball is a sport of failure. And we are in a world where people don't like that. They don't like to fail.
Facts.
I don't like feeling bad.
Facts.
Right? And striking out is going to happen.
Facts.
Right? And
damn, I didn't think about it.
I played them all. And so for a young kid to come up, you have so many what I call victories, not winning the game, but victories within football, right? We see them all the time. So
you can make first down.
Bingo.
The team could lose, but you the man.
You the man for that play.
That's right.
Stop
Facts.
playing with me. Right?
Facts.
That receiver can have 400 yards on you, but you blocked the last pass. What do they do every time?
Now you won't. Right.
They
right.
Never.
Right.
Nothing.
Yep.
It's like, bro, he's
now
killing
you on the news.
Yeah,
like,
he's killing you right now. But
right.
You blocked that one pass, right? Basketball, there's a million ways to make a shot. There's a million ways to make a shot. Bad shooters can make a shot, right? And there's a lot of little victories in that, right? So the game's so fast paced and it goes to offense, defense so quick that I might be the worst offensive player in basketball. And guess what they'll call me? A defensive stopper.
Right.
Where in baseball,
There's
you're
none
up
of
there
that.
by yourself.
Now I'm thinking about it. There's none of that.
You by yourself. It's a team sport, but it's like track. I always say it's like track. No one's helping you on your 100-yard dash.
Right.
You can cheer for me, great, but you ain't speeding me
Right.
up.
These ain't your legs.
Right. I got to get going. Right. And it's the same as all these sports where baseball's such a sport of failure. Like, you name me one other sport that you can fail 7 out of 10 times and be a Hall of Famer. If you miss 7 out of 10 layups, you're trash. You're not good at basketball.
Right.
You miss 7 out of 10 tackles, you're not good.
You miss 7 out of 10 shots in hockey.
Right.
You'll never make the card.
What are we doing? But baseball, if I bat 300, I'm legit.
Right.
And that's hard to teach a kid now, where everything's so much instant. It's instant gratification. A lot of things right now.
Is sports
right?
exploitative?
Oh yeah.
The word of the day is exploitative. Monica, if you be
it's
so
exploitative?
kind.
Okay.
The word of the day is exploitative.
Okay.
That doesn't pepper the conversation now.
Okay.
Just because that's not the garnish. That's not the garnish. That's not it. That's just a side dish. The word of the day is exploitative. Is sports exploitative?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, yes.
Right.
They're in a lot of ways using someone's body for entertainment.
Right.
Once those people's bodies aren't seen as value anymore, guess what they do with them? The next toy.
Right.
Next new hottest thing, right? Like, look at even the greatest. Look at like LeBron. People can't wait to see him fail. Like, until he's done.
Right.
He old.
Right.
Been in the league 19. He's amazing.
Right.
But, man, next person, it's almost like they're a toy.
Right.
And so in a lot of ways, it is exploitative. Sorry. Youth sports in baseball is super exploitative. Like, you have a kid that has a big arm. That coach will pitch that kid like it's nobody's business.
Right.
And right now, there's so much information in the world that we know this does not lead to a healthy future for this child. But guess what guess what that coach wants to do that weekend? Win that tournament.
Of course.
Don't care what happens to this kid after 13. But we won this tournament, and there's a lot of parents sipping that tea. How much do you win? Oh, we go to go play for them.
Let me ask you this question, because this is a conversation that I've been having with other friends of mine. Mm-hmm. There is a push among some people to remove ROTC programs from high schools or JROTC programs from high schools. And the reason why is because those programs are exploitative. So I'd have to ask you, what's more exploitative? An ROTC program of which
Don't do that.
Of which would presumably steer kids into the military?
Correct.
Or sports?
I don't think I wouldn't say one is more
And there may not be
exploitative than the other one. But how about this? They're both as exploitative.
Sure.
I think sports. I mean, listen. ROTC. People look at it like it's for the kids of low-income families, the hood kids, to go and have an outlet.
Right.
What is basketball sometimes?
The same thing.
What is football
Hoop
sometimes?
dreams.
Hoop dreams. What is basketball? Like I see it all the time. You got a 5'5" kid. His dad's 5'2", his mom's 5'3", and this dude is going to the NBA.
Right.
And it's like, listen,
Muggsy Bogues.
Listen, man. Your percentages are less than 1% to get there regardless.
Right.
On top of that,
You're short.
you're 5'5".
Right.
Play something else. Right? Go draw. Go do something else.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that. So yes, I think they both can be as exploitative as each other. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say one's more or less because I don't know that much on the ROTC side.
Yeah, and this isn't to knock ROTC programs or sports programs.
Right.
But
that premise is no. I wouldn't use it off that premise.
Right.
That's a little silly. I think Yeah, I think sports is. It's 1%.
Yeah.
They go D1.
The thing about sports, though, that I do give it its shine, even though it is somewhat is because there are people who have like I've never been a sports fan really. I used to like I'm show my age. I used to like the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay, yeah,
that was my
LJ. Larry Johnson.
Come
Let's
on,
go.
that was my
Let's
team.
Go. I heard you
The
say multi-modes earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
Grandmama.
Yep,
okay.
exactly. Yeah. Charlotte Hornets. I was of course a Bulls fan, but I used to like the Supersonics back when Sean Kemp was playing.
And Gary Payton.
The thing that I've always been interested in, I would read a lot of the interviews that athletes would give.
Yeah.
There are amazing stories. There are people who came from nothing.
Yes.
And became something because of sports. And I wouldn't like to see that gone away, but I did want to hear it from you because I don't think that a lot of people have that in mind as they're pushing their kid out there or as they're doing that or as they're cheering from the side of the game. Because Timmy done ran, he caught the great pass and now he's in the end zone, the world's greatest play.
Right.
But concussions repeatedly.
Right.
And all of those kind of things.
And you know what?
And if Timmy gets hurt, now he on the sideline and the game goes on.
Yeah. It was a funny thing. After we won state, one of our coaches said to us, he said, enjoy it because next year no one's going to remember. You're going to have people that come to you and say, wait, y'all won state? I was like, bro, it's Aurora. They're going to remember us forever. But no, that next year, you guys won state last year? Oh.
Right.
And I'm like, where were you?
Right.
Right? And it's that notion anytime with youth, parents, and going through this process, really fight for your child to be in a space where they can grow as a person. You have to fight for that and fight for a coach that's going to see this kid through.
Right.
And a lot of them will not. A lot of them want to win now. Everything is temporary. And they had a good run. And it was great. But like I said before, that kid is pitched now. And you done shredded his arm. We had a good run. It was fun. Well, no, it's not. Because he's 15 now. He don't even play no more.
Right.
Or he hates this game. He doesn't want to be a part of it, right? A message I give to all our coaches, I said, above everything, your job is to make sure that they want to play the next year.
Right.
Because if they want to play the next year, they have fun. And they want to play the next year. If they don't, that's a faulty on our part. So it helps us not be so exploitive.
Right.
Right. So that's a big thing, and I will push for any parent. All right, you want to be on this elite team, or you want to leave and do X, Y, Z. Okay, well, go with somebody that's going to see your child through.
Right.
That's truly going to care. Because a lot of people, when they're trial season, oh my God, we all care.
Right.
I just want to see you get better, buddy.
Right.
You want to win a tournament every weekend, so you can go around as a grown man with a 12-year-old's trophy and pump your chest.
Right. Exactly.
But this kid's not ready.
Now you at Alexander Steakhouse. Now you got the oysters and you eat them. Now you on Sports Illustrated magazine.
You know what I'm saying?
Not little Timmy.
Not him. You know what I'm saying? So you get that pub, and it's like I said earlier. You start off playing to get somewhere. You're trying to understand how to be a better person. Sports teaches you more about being a better person and things that you can use in your adulthood.
Right.
You can relay back to your sports. But they'd be sad if the message is, wow, I got used and abused and thrown away.
There's a memory, and I'm going to wrap it up because the time is now, what is the time now? The time is 9:59. Okay, we go. One of the greatest, and this has always stuck with me because like I said, I haven't really been a sports fan dedicated my whole life. I started drawing when I was a kid, and drawing and art took me
right on.
The basketball and all that, because I've always been skinny my whole life.
Yeah.
So me getting hit the wrong way football is over.
Not happening.
There was a guy. He ended up he went and had a great career from basketball. We're all playing, just shooting hoops and everything like that. And we were on our team. There's a kid with Down syndrome.
Okay.
Playing. So we are not as efficient or as fast as the other team.
Right.
But it got down to the last couple of minutes, and the game winning shot, and then when our teammate with Down syndrome was running, he's a little bit slower than everybody else. However, the star player on our team You know what he did? And this has stayed with me forever. And I try to lead with that when times get rough in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he did, man? Instead of him taking the last game-winning shot,
I got past that one.
he kept passing it.
Mm-hmm. That victory
He kept
for that kid,
passing it to that dude.
That victory for that kid meant more than that's the game though.
And he made a layup which went in, and we won the game.
Wonderful.
But for that kid, that was the win of
his
the
life.
year.
Yeah.
And it was so big. Like we're talking about the coaches.
Right.
That's how you lead people.
Yes. That's how you lead.
That's how you do it.
Some
man.
of the best coaches I've had, I still call them coaches this day.
Right.
And it might not be like technically like he knew the most. It's
Right.
just like when I call you Coach Still, it's like you impacted me. Like you're still a coach, and a coach is somebody that's a teacher, right?
Right.
So it's like I'm still calling you teacher.
Yep.
I'm still calling you coach. So I'm fortunate enough to have those. But it's stories like that. That's what sports is supposed to make us better people.
Right.
And the competition about it, and the wins and the losses about it, just kind of iron sharpens iron. It grows
Exactly.
you.
Yep.
And when it doesn't, then we have an issue. When the focus is something different, then we're
Right.
probably going to have an issue, right? So that's what we try to maintain at K25. That's what we try to maintain in going forward when we're going to be training kids. And I'm actually looking to start. I'm not looking to start. I've already started it. And we'll be moving forward with it. I started a nonprofit organization called K25 Cares. The reason for that is for sport has right now outpriced a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just, and I hate this, well, I don't hate this narrative, I'm sorry. It gets overdrawn, the narrative of the inner city, brown and black, and a lot of times white kid that does not have.
Right.
It's like, what about the suburban kid that is fighting that same battle?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like either one's better or worse, but it's like everyone's fighting a battle. So me, I feel like it's a responsibility of mine to start something where a kid can be on our teams, can get some of our training for some kind of a scholarship or some kind of help needed. So we're starting a nonprofit organization to help kids in that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our teams, we've been doing this for years. We always do something that's community based.
Okay.
Whether it's going to Marie Wilkinson Foundation and doing
word
a
up.
food drive, or we used to go out to Feed My Starving Children and have a team night there, which a lot of teams do. It's not just ours.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that grows kids and that nurtures kids. That gives me that old vibe when I was coming up in BBA and stuff, where it's like it was about so much more than just playing the sport.
Right.
So me, I feel like starting a nonprofit organization and being able to say, hey, you know what, let me help you halfway. Let me help you have this opportunity. Let's see what you can be. So like that story you just said, some athletes are coming from nothing.
Right.
And bang, they're getting some opportunities is all you're saying. Because all of them don't make it to the league, but they're getting opportunities.
Yep.
Right? And if I can keep them off the streets for a summer, that's an opportunity.
Because you may not, you may
not do it. I used to work at JJC.
You
I was
may
a
not,
youth counselor. I was in the jail.
You may not be Cal Ripken Jr.
Yes, you might not, and it's okay.
And that's all right.
And it's totally fine.
But you should have the chance.
But you should have a chance to try to see what that's like.
That's right.
To try to see what relationships you can build from that. And that's the biggest thing. This whole thing is about relationships.
Yep.
So it's about building relationships from that. So I was like, man, I have to be able to do something to help, and not only black and brown children, but all kids to have an opportunity to play with our teams and get the coaching that we have there, which I feel is second to none.
Right. Because you got skin in the game. You know what
skin in the game. I know what we're doing. We just got some cool opportunities. We just the ABCA convention, they have these Barnstormers events.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna do one now at K25. So back to my first goal was to bring something good around the city with baseball. And that's huge. There's never been a convention for baseball around here of that magnitude. So they're going to be at our space. I'm actually getting the opportunity. I'm nervous about speaking it too.
When is that going to be?
That's January 30th at the end of this month. And I just found out this weekend. So it's been kind of crazy. It was supposed to be at Northwestern initially, and now it just got moved to our space. And the crazy thing is Ryan Brownlee, that name came up earlier because he was looking at me initially. Mm-hmm. He's actually the one that reached out to me about this. So it's just crazy how things move full circle sometimes, and opportunities you might have been passed up on, they just come back around in different ways sometimes. So it's
failing forward.
Yeah. Bingo. So
it's like it's a loss.
Right.
But you can't tell.
You can't tell.
So you can't tell. It's so illustrious.
Right.
You think the loss is a win,
Right,
actually.
Right.
That's right.
Right. And so, and having these travel teams and doing the things I want to do and hoping to be a good influence on kids. And we're going all over the place. We're going to Georgia. We go to Florida. So it's a pretty serious travel program.
The time is 9:06 a.m. We've massively gone over time.
My
This
fault.
is insane. I apologize to the people at home
Sorry.
for. I know your boss is behind you. Like, is Karen gonna get off the computer? What is she doing? So we got. How can we help you?
Oh, just put it out there. Just let everybody know we're here. We're here. K25 is in the building. We're here to train. If your kid is looking for baseball or softball opportunities and great training, and also team opportunity to play on teams, please reach out to us, K25. You can find us on Instagram at K25 Baseball.
I was going to go there. You got the gram, right?
We got the gram. We're on Twitter.
What's the gram?
The gram is K25 Baseball Softball. Okay. So as soon as you type in K25, it should pop up. We are on Twitter, K25_baseball. And we have a Facebook page as well, K25 Baseball/softball. So we're all over the place. Our website's www.k25baseball.com.
Okay.
Hit us up, man. Come on out. Let's
right.
get better. Let's get better together.
So we hope that you guys appreciated this great interview.
Yes,
we did. Thank you very much, man.
You for having me, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
Definitely. It's been great.
So this was a really good and motivational interview. I'm glad I got to ask those questions about sports in general.
Yeah.
For all of you guys, have a beautiful day. Have a wonderful day. Check out K25 Baseball.
Yes, sir.
And wear your helmet. Wear your helmet. That's right. And the show ends on a positive note. What's your message for people?
My message for people is, especially in this day and age, is to be kind. Everybody's fighting a hard battle. So just be kind and try to help each other out.
Take care of yourself and each other.
Yeah.